Yeah, Bev, it's no surprise there. These rallies are really Trump's way to vent and air his grievances, whether it's about his own legal issues or really trying to connect with his base. And that's what Trump has been doing over the past number of weeks, number of months, really working to connect and energize his own political base. And while that's very important in a primary setting, when you want to get your base out there and win the primary, Trump and also Biden, they're both their party's respective nominees for the president. So right now, we're seeing them both shift towards the general election. But in terms of strategy, these two couldn't be more different. We've seen Trump continue to, talk like a primary candidate, talking about his legal issues, bashing other Republicans as well. Even tweeting out a picture of or a video of Joe Biden, a fake video of Joe Biden in the back of a truck tied up. Whereas you have Joe Biden, airing an ad that is meant to appeal to supporters of Nikki Haley, who was one of the other Republicans running against Donald Trump. So, we're starting to see their general election strategies begin, but Trump still very much running a campaign that's catered towards his base.
And during these rallies, Julia, is he abiding by the various gag orders in place to try stop him attacking judges and their families?
That's a good question. There's definitely been some criticism, and there's been some moves to, sort of try to limit his speech because of his past rhetoric on judges. In that New York trial, in terms of the hush money case, he's been going after Judge Juan Merchan's daughter, Lauren Merchan, saying that she was, anti-Trump and posting anti-Trump content on, the platform known as X, formerly known as Twitter. Now, that account that was posting that information turned out not to belong to Lauren Merchan, but still the damage is done in Donald Trump attacking members of judges' families. And Bev, this comes at a time when even outside of politics, we've seen judges and their safety in the U.S. really put in, harm's way in many ways, and they've become targets themselves. So it's definitely a very precarious situation for any, judge or legal official's family to be put in.
Yeah, indeed. Florida now could become something of a political litmus test with the 6-week ban on abortion that has been sort of ratified there, but it's also giving people the chance to have their say. Who does this provide an opportunity for?
Well, it provides an opportunity for Democrats in Florida. Look, the Democratic Party in Florida has, struggled for quite some time. The last Democrat to win Florida statewide was in 2018, and former President Barack Obama was the first Democratic presidential candidate to win Florida. So it's certainly become a red state. However, at the same time, you have a lot of abortion measures, essentially expanding or ensuring abortion access, going into effect in various red states like Ohio, for example. So there is an opportunity in Florida. However, I could see this measure being passed where abortion rights would be enshrined into Florida state constitution. However, there are ticket splitters in Florida, and I could see, Donald Trump and the Senate candidate, down ballot Republicans in many cases, doing well in that case. So that's good to keep an eye on. I think it's still going to be a hard state for Democrats to win.
Yeah. There's some possibility that the House Speaker may again run into trouble. Mike Johnson, we know what happened to the last one. With some of his own members again, Marjorie Taylor Greene seems to have Mike Johnson in her sights. When might that come to a head?
That's a good question. We're going to get a preview of when it might come to a head, and maybe it will come to a head next week when lawmakers return to Capitol Hill from an Easter recess. Mike Johnson is now in this very unique situation where he is essentially relying on Democrats to, in a way, save his job, and he could end up working with them to pass funding for Ukraine. That's been something that far-right Republicans like Marjorie Taylor Greene have been very against against, and part of the reason why she's seeking to oust him. The problem, though, with this effort to oust Mike Johnson is no one knows who would replace him. And quite frankly, due to what happened to Kevin McCarthy, like you just mentioned, the past House Speaker, and what the situation Mike Johnson's in now, I don't know who wants to be a Republican Speaker of the House. So, there's this want among parts of the Republican Party to get rid of him, but they have no plan B.
No, exactly right. Now, Joe Biden is absolutely furious over the deaths of the 7 aid workers in Gaza, as is the Australian Prime Minister. But it remains a difficult issue, this one of Israel, and support for it for both sides of politics in an election year.
It's an absolutely difficult issue, and President Biden released a very scathing statement against Israel, against their handling of this situation, or in which several aid workers, including an American Australian national, were killed. And this is getting a lot of publicity because the World Central Kitchen is owned by an American celebrity chef, Jose Andres. He actually has a number of restaurants here in D.C. He's known very well throughout the city and throughout the U.S. So it's getting a lot of attention. And I think it's, once again, the Biden administration, even though they're being critical of Israel, they're also facing criticism for their support of Israel. And this is going to come back and, could be already hurting Biden in a state like Michigan, where there's a large Arab American and Muslim American population. If Biden were to lose the Arab American or Muslim American vote in Michigan, that could cost him the state. And that's one of the key battleground states he needs to win, or any candidate needs to win. So there could be electoral consequences, but so many other outside factors, including the possibility of a third party run, that, it's a perfect storm really for an insane general election year.
Yeah, crazy. Julia, it's going to be a fun ride this year. Great to have you on. Thank you.
Thank you.